Greetings everyone. I'm doing this video for Wally British. Wally, you might not know me or remember me, but I've had several conversations with you, dating back from the time you were doing the back to school drive. I love your passion and your attempts to give back. No one can say that is not who you are, because I'm going to remind the people that you're one of those first persons that were giving back. Your charity work is very early on, before anybody or most people were doing that thing in Jamaica. So we know you have the heart to give. We know you have a soft heart. I know you have a soft heart. I'm talking to you about the situation that occurred with your friends and you being dragged on social media about it. And I'm going to tell you that a very similar thing happened to me, where I had a friend whose man was very doggish. He was a male hoe. They were both my friends. And because of that, I witnessed certain things I didn't tell her. I have no regrets, and neither should you, Wally. So many of these women who are dragging you are also women who know that their friend's partner is doing bad things. They see it with their own eyes and they don't tell. They just chat the friend behind their back. So don't let these ones upset your spirit. But whenever anything happens in our life, good or bad, we always have to reflect. And so I'm going to share something with you. I had a vision a year ago about your friends. And in the vision, I brought something to them, a picture I showed to the female. And when she looked at it, she was very suspicious. And when she asked me who it was, I told her that was me when I was younger. Because she said, this picture doesn't look anything like you. And I said to her, this is me when I was younger. And, you know, there's more to the dream. But this part I'm sharing with you because I know that's the position you found yourself in with that young lady that now forced you to come out here and explain yourself. First and foremost, let us tell truth. Let's talk truth. Come on, make it talk truth now. Let's stop lying to ourselves. You see, that part of the dream has to do with you, Wally. When I presented the photograph, I was trying to save the girl's feelings from being hurt. So I lied. And that's why I know you're saying that you found out after the fact. And you've been honest and you said, I literally was trying to see if I could put out the fire. Sometimes as women, we always want to put out the fire. We always want to save feelings. We want to help out our friends, as is what you were trying to do. And by this, I don't need to remind you that the mistake you made was getting that female to come to your house. But let's keep it real. Talk truth. When that girl called you and told you that, you know, this situation was occurring, that was a nice piece of tea. Talk the truth. The curiosity alarm went up. The teapot started boiling. The reason why you got caught up in that is because the curiosity got the best of you. This was sweet. This is sweet. And so you wanted to know more. You wouldn't have turned her away because that was a nice piece of juicy juice. The tea was boiling and you wanted more of it. Now we all can learn from that, Wally, because sometimes when we get this kind of tea and we're thinking, oh my goodness, I want to hear more, all it does is draw you in. There's a certain energy that is attached to this hot tea that when you allow it to come close or you go close to it, it draws you in. And so I believe you when you say, I had no ill intention. I understand when you say, I never would have told her because I didn't tell my friend. And if it happened again, I would be the same. I'm minding my own business when it comes to these things. And like you said, you didn't want to break an empire. I hope at some point down the road, your friend will understand or forgive you if she's angry. The moment, though, I hear the story, knowing that I'm close to two-party, I would not have entertained her. I would have listened to her story because the curiosity would have gotten the best of me, just like it would. But I wouldn't have let her come to my house. But I understand why you did because, again, you're that type of person who like to help people. And I'm sure you learn a lesson from this. Sometimes some people, you just have to leave them alone, let them handle their business. Because for the most part, you didn't get any gratitude. You end up maybe not losing the friendship of both persons because the man knows you were trying to help him get rid of the problem. I think that is what some people are having a problem with. Is that, okay, you're friends to both of them. It would have been a better situation to say, look here, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to get involved with you before or after the fact. I just don't want to do this. I'm sure you've learned. Because the moment you allow this person to show up at your house, even though you said these two persons are your friend, at that point, the balance has shifted and you're now operating on the benefit of one more than the other, even though you're saying I'm doing this for both. But what it seems like you're covering up for the man. That was not your intention. You're just saying, oh my goodness, I don't want this lady to find out. But it benefited the man more. Because if you're getting her to come there and to hurry her out and get her out of the way before the lady found out. So while it was not your place to tell her, it was also not your place to entertain her. And I know where you're coming from. You're saying, I'm trying to help her. But sometimes we try to help people who don't deserve help. And I guess you know that after the fact. It's not everybody who come to you crying tears and saying that they're in problems that you have to help. Sometimes you pick up some crosses. In America, there are shelters. Let me remind you people so that you don't find yourself in the same position as Wally. There are shelters in America. There are people in America without papers or green card or whatever who actually stay at shelters. They're not going to turn you away because you don't have the proper paper. I know someone in my family who was living in the States and didn't have papers and found himself homeless. And how do you think he was able to go back and forth to the shelter until he got his papers? So at the time, your curiosity was greater than your ability to think it through. I don't think you had any ill intention, but you used poor judgment. And as such, it makes your relationship with these persons seem questionable. It would appear that it was more beneficial to the man than it was to the woman. But trust and believe, when she called you, you have to admit that the juice was so sweet. You wanted more of it. So use that, going forward to say, you know what? Sometimes the info might be so important or seem important or so interesting. But some people, you're better off not knowing their story. I've had experience in my past where I have this is like a sister to me, and someone called me and was saying to me, you're so foolish. You don't realize that this, that, and that is happening with your friend. How come your friend didn't tell you this and that? I'm like, well, she wanted to know, fill me in with information that my friend did not tell me. And I said, I do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear it because I feel like by her telling me the woman's private stuff that she didn't relate to me, I felt like I was betraying my friend. So I said, I don't want to hear. She was talking about things that was happening to my friend's partner, and I did not want to hear it. Because if I sit there and listen to it, I'm not going to tell my friend. And this is another person. I'm not going to tell her. So the person who had the information, I said, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear. Don't want to hear the woman's business because she did not tell me. And so your intention was pure. You wanted to help the girl and you wanted to help this family. But at the end of the day, look at who you tried to help. Somebody who will never say thank you. One of the worst things to help somebody, thinking you're helping them, and they turn around and, they assault your character. All right? Bless up yourself, Wally. Listen, what is done is done. Lessons learned, and we carry on. Stay blessed, everyone.